There's a saying in the personal finance community that most money arguments aren't about money, and we found that to be largely true. In the beginning of our relationship, we used to think all our financial arguments were the result of not having enough money. We figured that once we had more of it, all our money issues would magically disappear and we'd be on the same page till death do us part. Nothing would be further from the truth. As the late, great Notorious B.I.G. said,
the more money you make, the more problems you get.
More money, more problems. Over time, we would learn that earning more income may ease the stress of the decision-making process, but it doesn't make the difficult decisions go away. In other words, conflict was a constant presence in our life that ebbed and flowed as time went on. In the 3 years we spent dating, we learned how to fight fair about money through having lots of conflict.
So we dedicated an entire chapter of Cashing Out to money and relationships, and there are a lot of reasons for that. What we know about Americans is that money is one of the leading causes of stress, and what we know about marriages is that money is the leading cause of separation.
When we started to write the chapter on money and relationships, our goal was really just to normalize the idea of conflict. So many of us in relationships think that the absence of conflict means you're doing a great job with your finances, and the presence of conflict means there's something that needs to be fixed or something that needs to be dealt with. And what we were trying to normalize, that the absence of conflict doesn't necessarily mean that things are going well. It could be a pattern of avoidance. But the presence of conflict isn't something to be afraid of. It's actually something that you can embrace because it's often the byproduct of growth.
Our very first conversation about money led to a breakup. As bad as breakups are, looking back, that was one of the best things that could have ever happened to us because it forced us to have a very real and honest conversation about money early on in our relationship.
In the book, we walk you through several examples of what interaction patterns look like when it comes to conversations about saving, conversations about spending, conversations about debt, recovering after things have gotten activated, after someone's been heated. And so we go through lots of tips and tactics and suggestions, and some of it is actually just unlearning maybe some of the advice that you've heard from parents and other adults in your life over time. For example, one of the interaction patterns that we've noticed with couples over time is the use of labels. So people will come to us and they'll be like, y'all can say it better than I can. I'm the saver and they're the spender. And the implication is that the saver is the good one and the spender is the one who needs like their hand slapped or again to be fixed. And so what we suggest in the book is to actually remove labels and shift the paradigm from either good or bad to now or later. So start focusing on the time horizon of the decisions that you're making in order to concentrate on what you're actually trying to accomplish from a financial standpoint.
So when we were doing research for this particular chapter, we stumbled upon an incredible body of research by a clinical psychologist that actually helped us to think about arguments or conflicts about money as a dance.
In doing so, we could focus on the interaction patterns. And so we kind of took that metaphor of a dance and interaction patterns that we've picked up on from thousands of conversations with you all and other readers and listeners across the globe and highlighted what we tend to see when couples are approaching conflict and conversations about money for the very first time.
And so we wrote the chapter with that research and with that example in mind, and we're helping readers think more about the type of rhythm that they need to have with their partners.
This was an interesting chapter to write because the rules that govern healthy relationships are largely unwritten. They're kind of made up and managed by the people that are in those relationships. So at the end of the chapter, when it came time to write down the rules and the rituals, we really only came up with one rule, but I'm not gonna tell you what it is. Buy the book to find out what the rule is.